Welcome to the Always Aligned podcast. Wherever you're at in the universe, you are always aligned. I like the analogy of you being in a rubber band and you can live for self and you can keep doing the things that you want to do, but that rubber band's going to be as stretchy as it wants to be until it's not. And then God will bring you back to Him in a relationship with Him. So this is a podcast where I am going to give my interpretation of how I see the verses in the Bible, and also just talking about philosophy and crazy ideas that I ponder throughout the days. Some could be completely wrong. Some can be I could be onto something. You never know. But one verse I will share with you before I even share my perspectives on things is my favorite verse in the Bible is Psalms 118 verse 8. Trust in no one but the Lord. So even when it comes to what I am talking about, that you need to take it up with God. You and God have your own personal relationship, and it's not up to me to give you the knowledge and wisdom. I'm only trying to express myself through this little passion project for the podcast, and I hope I'll do a good job at it, and I can bring more people to the faith. So, Christianity. If you guys are new to the podcast, we don't know if I get 3 listeners, we get 2 listeners, it doesn't matter. We're going to have fun doing it because I actually enjoy doing it. So what I want to talk about today is this is like, I look at life like a video game, and the video game is called life. And one of the hardest things to do in this video game is to know self. We got so many distractions, so many other things from the exterior. We're not focused on the inside, right? So what I want to talk about is these verses in the Bible in the sense of how I think it applies as a video game. So I'm going to read from Mark 12:28, verse 34. I'm reading from a New English Version Bible. So one of the teachers of the law came and heard them debating. Noticing that Jesus had given a good answer, and he asked them, "Of all the commandments, which is the most important?" Jesus said, "The most important one," answered Jesus, "is this: Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind, with all your strength. The second is this: love your neighbors as yourself. There is no commandment greater than these." Okay, so love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind and with all your strength. Okay. The way I like to look at this one is loving God, loving Jesus, right? But I think there's 2 aspects of looking at it. Because I think in the sense of how I see some Christians, not that I judge them, it's just I see how people believe in God and that's all good and great. But do you what's your relationship like with yourself too, right? So you can believe in God and you can have faith and you will be saved. Great. But do you believe in yourself? Do you love yourself with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your strength? Like, are you doing everything you can to become a better you? That's one to think about, right? Like, are you literally looking into your mind and like analyzing yourself in the mirror of what needs to improve here, right? Your way of thinking, your way of your eating habits, your attitude towards other people. There's so many different things of that needs to be, well, that's between you and God, right? So that's the beautiful thing about Christianity, right? Is the way I see it is it's only coming from your own perspective and your own personal relationship with God. Because I believe wholeheartedly that God wrote down the laws within our hearts and our minds, so we do know what's good and what's wrong, right? So that's something to think about, is what can I do to become better, and how do I get to the point where I go in the bathroom and I look in the mirror and I become proud of that person, where that person is like improving every single day, and you know you're in that. I noticed when I relayed the other episode that the way I say trajectory, I don't even know if that's the right word to say. Anyways, you'll know if you're going in the trajectory upward or not. And there's a lot of like self-awareness to the point where you got to get to the point where you're not just thinking like a robot anymore. Like, that will be a common term you'll hear me say at all times, is most people are living a robot lifestyle where they're just doing the same things over and over and over again, and they're not even thinking anymore, and they're not questioning these deep questions. They're distracted with whatever reality TV show or sports teams or whatever, instead of going internal and like trying to be like, why do I think that way? Why do I lose my patience in these moments? Why do I freak out on that person at work, or like when I don't need to do these things? Like, why can't I control these things? You want to control yourself. You want to have self-control. When you have self-control, that's mastery over the calmness, the stillness, and Jesus will, he'll help you along with that when you kind of give it up to him, be like, I can't do it on my own, and throughout time, he'll help you with the process. Okay. So now the second one, okay. Love your neighbor as yourself. I love this one because one thing I do notice, since I've gotten back into Christianity and getting baptized and stuff, God's kind of just given me this type of wisdom where I see certain people that are already living like this. That one verse says, those that are last will be first, and those that are first will be last. Because there's a lot of self-righteous Christians where they judge other people and what they're doing and stuff. They're like, oh, they're not living right. But then there's the people that are not Christians that are already treating people like they want to be treated. Okay? So if this is a video game, and in this video game of life, this energetic video game, this beautiful video game, and you are player one, and one of the cheat codes is you just have to love yourself to the point where you start loving others like you would love yourself, and then you become selfless because you know what you would want, so you do those things for those people, and then you're, cheat code. Jesus is the ultimate cheat code for what he did, and we got to give all praise to Jesus every single time. And without that, we don't get to see these things and understand these things for what they are. So you always got to give it up to him. So it's something to really think about. I'm going to read them one more again because it is very important. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and with all your strength. So not just loving the Lord, but like embodying that, right? You want to really feel that love for yourself as you can feel it, because God's giving it to you. He's giving it to you freely with no change. It's always there. It's always your mood and how you're being that's all over the place. It's a matter of you dialing into what God's been giving you this whole time. You know, it's beautiful, really. I could be completely wrong, but I don't think so, because I feel like the more that I do these things for myself, so there's like circumstances when it comes to people in your life, right? The more I focus on myself and instead of focusing on others, the more in my certain relationships in life, the more I've done this, the more other people in my life that I used to worry about, they're getting their stuff together now. And it is very profound and beautiful because I'm seeing it for what it is. It's like, God's like, just focus on me, dude. Just focus on me. Excuse me. Focus on me and I'll do the rest. Focus on the kingdom. That's it. Okay? So there's another one that I want to talk about. So we're going to go to Colossians 3:22 verse through 25. Okay? So these are the three ones. Like those two were the first, the two greatest commandments that Jesus said. And this next one that I'm going to read has something to do with my personal life that I want to share. Okay, hurry up, Brian. We're doing a podcast. We got to keep talking. We got to keep the flow going. Don't want to have that person in the car getting bored or thinking, is this podcast still on? I listen to a lot of podcasts, so I take a lot of note to these things. And I know dead air is not a good thing. So you got to be able to find one thought and go to the next thought, and also be able to multitask. And you don't all have if anybody listens to a Joe Rogan podcast, we don't all have a Jamie to look up stuff on the fly. We're doing this on our own here. So, okay, so this is Colossians 3:22 through 25. Okay. So I'm gonna read. Okay, I'll give context for it first. So when you're at work, there's a lot of people that are at work and they don't really like their job. They're just doing it to get by, or the pay is decent or whatever, or they don't get paid good at all. And there's a lot to take into account because it's not easy in this world to get by, right? We gotta work hard to get by, and we gotta work hard, really hard, to succeed. And most people are just getting by. So this is another kind of cheat code that I've learned to kind of embody, in the sense of listening to the first two commandments and then following into this way of working and lifestyle. So it says, slaves, obey your earthly masters in everything, and do it not only with their eye is on you, and let me reread that. Slaves, obey your earthly masters in everything, and do it not only when their eye is on you, and to curry their favor, but with sincerity of your heart and reverence for the Lord. Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart as working for the Lord, not for human masters, since you know that you will receive an inheritance from the Lord as a reward. It is the Lord Christ you are serving. Anyone who does wrong will be repaid for their wrongs, and there is no favoritism. Okay, so my dad has an ongoing joke because I get paid very minimal for what I do. I run heavy equipment and very bare minimal, and what I'm getting paid is not enough. It's not enough. But my attitude and my way of thinking lately is, at least I'm working. I like staying steady. I like staying busy. And there's another verse in the Bible is saying Satan's playground. No. Idle hands is Satan's playground. So the more I stay busy, the more happy I am as a man. And I think that would speak to a lot of men. When you're busy, you're usually not pondering and worrying about other things. So because my dad always joking about how very little I make, he says, you're a slave. And I'm like, at least I'm working. So I've had this attitude since pretty much, well, let's say after I got baptized. Like I've been showing up every single day. I can come early, and no complaints. I'll be go. I'll stay extra long if I have to. All these things. And lately I've been have to do some labor work where I'm like taking down fence, and it's not hard work, but it's it's labor work. So you're moving around and you're kind of cutting your arms up like with the fence if you're not rolling it properly. And I'm doing it, and I'm doing it with like pure joy. Like I actually enjoy it. I'm out in the sun chilling. Even like this morning it was raining, I didn't care, pulling out fence posts and stuff like it. I just didn't care. I was doing it in the sense of this verse. I am working for the Lord. I'm not working for the job that I'm working for. I'm not working for my supervisor. And one day, after I finished, and I finished in a timely manner too, and my boss, you could tell he was impressed. He's like, wow, you guys are fast and efficient. And he had me go do a job by myself, and then he picked me up, and then he started showing me some new things that I've never known about the job before. He was like showing me how to stake out these jobs, like to put a foundation on for these roads. Don't want to get into it too much, but anyways, he's showing me something new, and he's seeing, I think in a way he was kind of like testing to see if I was like wanted to learn. And yes, I want to learn. I want to actually do good at this work. I don't plan on doing this forever, but I do not want to live my life idly by. I want to move forward and progress and get paid more, and get that respect from my bosses in a sense. So by me doing this stuff within my mind, having this mindset that I'm working for Jesus Christ, like I'm a servant to the Lord, and when I'm working for other people, and I'm using that cheat code for one of the commandments, so I'm treating my boss like I'm treating myself, and I'm working really hard for him, and I'm trying to have a lot of common sense where he doesn't have to bug me at all times. He leaves me alone, and he can trust me. So next thing you know, he started talking about upgrading me and getting me trained on different type of equipment. Well, you know what that means? That means I'm going to get paid more, and I'm going to learn something new, and I can work myself up in the company in that sense. But I didn't do this for my boss. I did it for God. And God is rewarding me with these things. At work, there's a lot of like brown nosers and stuff like that, where like they're doing everything they can to impress their boss. Well, it says here, it's like, don't try to, not only when their eyes are on you and to carry their favor, but with sincerity of heart and reverence for the Lord. So God's giving me this knowledge to see by listening to the word and actually putting it into practice. Cheat code on cheat code on cheat code. And you're going to see this gradual buildup of, well, I'm living my own personal life, but I get to express it, and I get to share it. And I believe that's how God uses people to share their testimonies in how they follow God and how they have faith in God. And then it's this gradual buildup for you to get there in your own personal life. And it's individual to you. So if you're going to take anything home from this podcast that you're listening to right now, treat others like you want to be treated. But love yourself. Love yourself first. Get to that point where you fully love yourself. Question these thoughts. Question, do I love myself? You know? Do I look in the mirror? Am I proud of that person? What can I be doing better? Should I be doing some push-ups or sit-ups? Like, I remember there was like a click for me at one point where I just started running. I just started running around the block. I would run until I couldn't run anymore. Kind of like Forrest Gump. But I would do that because I noticed what that did for me. It not only was getting me physically in shape, but it was canceling out all these thoughts. Next thing you know, I had momentum and I'm going to the gym, and then I'm working out and now I'm eating healthy and I'm only drinking water, and I'm like, next thing you know, my mind is right, and now I'm proud when I look in the mirror, and then my faith just keeps getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And it's like God shows you these things in the Bible. It's just a matter of putting it into practice and actually living it out. And a lot of people are living it out already and they don't even know it. It's just a matter of having that faith in our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. So I'll leave you guys on that. I think 20 minutes for each podcast is, pretty good. We're pretty good. So, there's no pressure for people to share this or like it or anything, but that does promote the podcast if you do think this is going somewhere. But like I said, I'm just doing this because it's a little passion project. But take care and God bless. Until next time.